competition. One thing I will say that's clear from that little soundbite we just heard, the polling clearly shows, the Democratic polling clearly shows that Wall Street, in their minds, is the devil incarnate. Okay, so they're going to use it as a political football and try to leverage as best they can. What they need to do, though, they need to go back and pull the video from June 27, 2005, when Barney Frank made that statement down on the House floor in that meeting. He said, what housing bubble? Go back, give a salvo, return the punch, and then come back and be more progressive.
So let me ask you something. If you want to do that, then why don't you go back and look at all of the Republicans chipping away at the Glass-Steagall Act, which is basically what caused our financial crisis of 2007.
What I'm talking about, that salvo came there was unfair. He basically suggested that the Republican Party was not aware of what was going on. He can't claim that he was aware of it. Listen to what Barney Frank said.
I'm all for that as well. We need to have a solution here.
We're going to repeat the problem we don't understand. You're wrong in stating where the problem came from. The problem came from this notion that everybody in America had a right to a house, whether they could ever afford to pay their loan back. That's what the Community Reinvestment Act was all about.
And that's what you were. Hang on a second. And Democrats, by the way.
But when it was investigated, as you rightly point out, Republicans said we got a big problem coming. Democrats said Raines and Jim Johnson and Jamie Gerlich, they're all doing a great job. They made tens of millions of dollars, and we were set on a course of disaster.
As chair of the committee that oversees that particular sector, Barney Frank should have known. He basically was in the same position that the soundbite suggested that McCain and others were in. He should have known.
It's just fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me that Republicans are more interested in trying to figure out, go back a couple years and see who's to blame, rather than come up with solutions.
Don't you want to know why?
That's a preposterous thing to say, and it's a silly talking point that we heard throughout the healthcare debate. We heard throughout the healthcare debate. Republicans don't have any plans. Republicans don't have any plans. Then the president invites Republicans to the White House for 7 hours. He listens to Republican plans, one after another, after another, after another. The same exercise has happened here, where Republicans have been shut out of the process from the beginning. From the beginning, they've been shut out of the process.
After that conference, you had Republican ideas like tort reform and selling policies across interstate commerce.
Right. What was it, a $50 million study
many of
fund?
those ideas were incorporated into the final health care plan. But what we're seeing now on financial reform is, first of all, Democrats and Republicans should be trying to work together.
Listen, all I can say
is the White House hasn't invited him.
The
Democrats have shut him out from the beginning.
If there's so much anger against corporate America, corporate malfeasance, there ought to be 4 times the amount of anger towards government malfeasance, mismanagement of people's money. If Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and Barack Obama, if they were a corporation, I would argue they could be brought up on charges. They've so mismanaged the people's money. We'll come back more with our Great American Panel.